Hello, good morning. Welcome to this second day of Hyper Games Conference. My name is David Vignoni. I am the co-founder and CEO of Midnite. Today we're going to talk about our game, Get Lucky. It's a game that was officially published on September 7th by Homa Games. Until now, it has made almost 20 million downloads, and we briefly reached the #1 position in the US App Store and Google Play. So we're very happy. It's going really well. Let's hope to keep lucky like this. Before I continue, I would like to introduce you to my company, Midnite. We were founded in late 2015 by me and my brother Julian. We are the same who created the game Slices, a hyper-casual classic from 2018, published by Good Job Games with more than 60 million downloads and still making some. And we are based in Italy, specifically in Cesena, in the northeast part of Italy. We have 50% international team, so 50% of us are Italian, the rest are spread out around the world. And most of us are working remotely. We have a nice big office, but we make it possible for everyone to be able to work and be up to date with whatever is happening in the company. So we also like to call ourselves to be using a remote first approach. If you wanna learn more about us, you can scan this QR code and we'll take you to this nice interview that the folks at Homa Games made with me. There's a lot more about us. Before we continue to get into the KPIs, I think it's important to tell you how we work, because I think it's part of the reason why we finally published the game this year. So this is an overview of the process. It's probably similar to many other studios, but of course we start with ideation. The output of ideation is ideas, and these ideas go to pre-production. This is where game designers and concept artists create, they think further about the game, like the aesthetics and also the core gameplay, and they create an MVP game design document. So it's a simplified game design document, but it still has all the essential information for a distributed team be able to understand what they have to build. When the GDD is ready, it goes into production, where developers and 3D technical artists prepare the actual project, the actual product, and then that gets tested. We started using this approach in 2020, so we were just out of the first lockdown in Italy. As you know, the pandemic hit here first, at least in at least in Europe, and this is just a more detailed overview of how the pre-production and production works. So there is pitches. We may request a concept doc. The concept doc, which is a one-pager document with essential information about the idea, gets reviewed. If it gets approved, we request the GDD. Then the GDD is sent to production, but they don't start right away. The GDD is reviewed by the team that is going to work on it, and they will clarify any questions, any problems that they have. They will raise issues they may found, so that we don't find ourselves stuck later. And then they do their planning. When all this is done, the project can start, and they have 7 business days to complete the MVP. Usually we get a few videos before we get to the final APK, but we wait for the final APK to start giving proper feedback. Basically, the APK is played by the designers, the concept artist, and me, and or the game lead, and we give structured feedback to the production team. And then they work usually it's just another day of work until to provide the finalized product. And then we send it we publish it and send to testing. But what I wanted to talk really about is that in 2020, we decided to only work on the paper prototype model. And we were signing agreements with publishers. To convince them and to be more credible, we told them that we were going to give them a dedicated production unit. And by production unit, I mean they would have a team of developer and technical artists that will only work on projects for them. So we hired more people. We had three production units, and we assigned them to 3 different publishers. We thought that would be a great idea to avoid situations that we had in the past, where, for example, developer was worked on a game for publisher A, and then moved on to work on a game for publisher B, and then publisher A asks for an update or an iteration, but the developer is blocked over here, and maybe the 3D artist that worked on this project was yet in another one. So to avoid this, we were giving the same people to the same publisher all the time. We thought it was a great idea. Unfortunately, we didn't count for what I call the problem of juggling publishers. Because when you deal with more publishers and you're a small team like us, basically you get assigned a publishing manager from all of them. And this means you have lots of meetings. You have to talk to all these publishing managers every week, sometimes even more than a week. And what happens? Also the publishing managers, they have different styles. Some of them give better feedback. Some of them are faster. Some are less responsive, more responsive, and ultimately it makes things very, very hard. Like, it's time consuming. Plus there is problem of recycling ideas. Of course, we only have so many ideas every week, every month, I don't know. And so if an idea gets initially discarded, we will try to sell that idea to other publishers first before discarding it for good, so we don't have to think of other ideas. Then there is also the fact that each publisher has different terms. Some of them may be paying you more per prototype, while another one may be offering a better revenue split. So in your head you start making like you start thinking, should I give this idea to them, to this other publisher? And all this leads to a problem, which is the idea backlog a problem. Basically, not having enough ideas in the backlog with for all the teams. So a team, let's say team X, working with publisher X, finishes their project, but publisher X still has not approved any other ideas. So what happens? This team that we are paying becomes idle, and they have this idle time. And now I have another problem, which is trying to fill their time, trying to make them do something useful, not wasting money like this. So it was very problematic. So we thought to try something else, and we did in the beginning of the year of 2021. We decided to go exclusive, so work with a publisher with an exclusivity agreement. It wasn't Homa back then, it was another publisher, and I'm going to explain you why we think, at least for us, is the best way to operate. So advantages. Of course, when you go exclusive, you can negotiate to get a monthly payment that will give you enough peace of mind that the business you can keep the business going. You only have one point of contact, because you are working with just one publisher. Also, all your teams are working and learning from the same publisher. They will be using the same technology the publisher will provide, like certain SDKs. So we don't have to maintain a template to work, just to say names, to work with Voodoo, a template for Supersonic, a template for Homa, a template, you know what I mean. You only use one template, so you can also improve that template more. The ideas get approved much faster. Also, you may receive ideas from the publisher itself. They want you to succeed. They want you to have projects that make sense to be built. So they will try to help you out to find the ideas. They don't want you to get that idle time, because eventually they want to get their investment. They want a return on their investment. And basically what happens, you get much closer to your publisher, they get much closer to you, and the cooperation...
Ti sto ascoltando.
Sorry about that. The cooperation improves. You get access to intel that otherwise you would not have. Of course, there are commitments that you have to make. Usually you have to agree on a certain amount of prototype that you are going to deliver. The terms can be quite long, like 6 months, 1 year. And obviously you cannot work with others. But let's see the results. So right away in our first month with previous publisher in exclusivity, we found this game. It's a turn-based puzzle game. I'm gonna show it to you. Unfortunately, the game, as you can would expect, didn't work out. CPI was good, but this only lasts for the first the very first test. Then it kept like going up, while we were trying very hard to improve retention. And we tried so many ads, and I don't know, the CPI never got back to those 23, and retention never went up enough to justify. Playtime was actually very good, but eventually after 2 months we had to drop it, and it was a pain because we had invested quite some time on it, but we were using it. This is what happens in hyper casual. Just in a couple months later, when we were dropping the other one, we found this other concept, 23 cents. Retention initially was mostly conversational based. It was more like you in the courtroom, being a lawyer defending a client. Then because the retention was kind of low, I mean it always had like a quite long playtime, but retention was low. We tried to add mini games and situations and stuff, and this is how it looked. So this one also got dropped. We worked on it quite a while because the CPI kept like this for a very long time, 23, 25, 27 at maximum. But it was boring. it was kind of a boring game. We couldn't find a way to make people want to come back. But there was something there. In fact, later, after we dropped it, a few months later, we saw other games with this theme succeeding in the charts, at least. So yeah, this is another one that make us waste some time, but it's what happened. But it proves that we were finding good ideas. So in July, we changed partners. We started working with Homa, and initially I was very worried because I had committed to quite some many deliverables with them per month, and I was worried that basically on the first month we would not have time to ideate, to get enough ideas approved and move fast enough to implement them within the same month. But in reality, we also choose Homa because we actually already knew the publishing manager we are currently working, and we had a very good experience. And in fact, when we started working with him, everything went really smoothly, and the approval rate was the ideation approval. The ideas approval was good. He helped a lot in improving the ideas, and we managed actually to make even more than what we were expected to do in the we are expected to do 8. I think that month we made maybe 10 or 12 deliverables. So current speed is around 3 deliverables per dev per month. They are only required to make 2 deliverables per month, but most of the times we are able to achieve this number here. And also to be noted, Get Lucky was between the first 4 games that we presented to Homa in July, and it got published. So it was definitely a great start. So let's talk a little bit about how we got the idea for Get Lucky. So I had the inception of this idea of running to make a game where you have to run naked in August 2020, almost more than a year ago. We didn't know exactly how and why, but we were imagining more like somebody that was being chased by the cops, and he was like taking off his clothes, and then he wanted to take a selfie. Basically some sort of like photo bomber, but a naked photo bomber. Then we also remembered about the game Fun's Rush by Ketchup. That was a game where you were playing a hooligan that would invade a football pitch and would escape from cops. And so I associated that to the fact that sometimes those people who invade the football pitch, they also take off their clothes. And and the next day there are funny pictures on the newspapers showing cops trying to catch this guy, and so we said, yeah, maybe this could be set in a football pitch, so you could be one of them. We wrote the concept doc, we showed to a publisher, we eventually show it again to another publisher 6 months later. In both cases the idea got rejected. Initially, because they thought the football theme was not strong enough. Another time, I don't remember actually what was the reason, but we never moved forward. But the ideas kept in my head, in our head. So in the meantime, what happens? Runners took over. So from QSurfer to all the runners that followed, they took over the App Store and Google Play, and I think they are amazing. You can do so much with runners, and they're so easy to understand that I think they deserve the spotlight. Then female characters started to become like the norm. So with after High Heels, all the runners had female characters. Then we saw games like Shoe Race, where we introduced outfits changing. And by also decision making. Later, there have been all sorts of variations with outfit changing, but like in the case of Run Reach, you're changing because you are changing status. So when we were doing ideation, we were thinking about these games, about runners, about outfits, about status, about female character, and eventually one day. The idea popped, like maybe we should make a game where you are running naked again, from that 1-year-old idea, and you pick up your clothes, so you have to dress up. But then one of us went like full reverse and said, no, wait, why don't we do it the other way around? You are fully dressed and you have to take off your clothes. When we said that, we stopped, and I remember like we were like staring at the screen, and we were like, yeah, I don't think nobody did that yet in a runner. We should definitely try it. So we start thinking and ideating. All right, so first we need a reason. Why is this female character trying, wanting to get naked? What is the reason to undress? So we went back to the charts, and we were looking at what were the games that were popular at the at the time, and there was Queen Bee, Makeover Run, Bridal Rush, and if you notice in all these games, where is the female character going? She's going towards her boyfriend. So we thought the justification for getting naked is romance. She's going to her boyfriend, to her date. So we because getting naked is a little bit more extreme way to go to your boyfriend, we also try to we thought initially at least to contextualize it and make it more like urban, more current, and have a two-steps game. So initially you would see like a Tinder interface, and you would be like swiping left and right, finding for your match, and then you would be the runner to get to find your match in the game. Then we had to think about how to undress. It's not simple. It's simpler to know that to associate that you pick up stuff that gets added to you. It's less simpler to understand how. It's less simpler to visualize how to communicate that you are going to remove stuff from yourself. So in this case, we just looked at Run Reach. They have this system of like going from totally poor to super rich, and you have positive and negative elements, and like money will make you go towards being richer, and the bottle of wines will take you to get poorer. And we thought, okay, we can do the same. We just need to find the exact symbols, and so we asked around, and these were the results. So the hanger was a no-brainer when we heard it. The cloth rows, we didn't know, but we couldn't find any better option, so it stayed. Then there is we asked ourselves, do we want to add an enemy? We said yes, because we had already removed all the obstacles that we initially planned to put in the game, just to make the MVP faster. And we said, okay, let's add at least one enemy just to add some variation to the gameplay. So we thought about this, what we call the alpha woman. So she's just a mean woman that doesn't want our character to reach her date. And finally, the goal. And the goal is to meet your date. Oh, you cannot see it because it's hidden by my face, but he's hidden over there and at the end of the pool. So when we went for the creatives, our publishing manager informed us that actually they had tried in the past dating simulation games where they had an interface similar to Tinder, and they couldn't get the ads approved by Facebook. So because basically it seems that Facebook doesn't allow dating apps ads. So we removed this part, which actually was better because it's less work to do for an MVP. So no dating apps, at least. Then we wanted to come up with creatives work very well when they have some spiciness in it. They are somewhat provocative. So this was the storyboard for the ad. We don't usually do storyboards, but this is for our ad. Basically, seeing the man in the bed, like the target, the goal, then a zoom out to your current position, and then the game starts. And also having the female getting censored in her privates, and in the end make something that is like elusive but like fun and ridiculous and comical, right? So you see the female jump on the bed, and then this big black box. So there's nothing really happening in the video, but we hoped it would catch the eye. Then we were looking at when we were doing the videos, I remembered of a TikTok trend that I have saw that had a perfect music, and it was this video over here where you can see Bruce Lee fighting, getting ready to fight Chuck Norris, but they put like a sexy song underneath as a soundtrack, and it makes the video really funny to watch. So I just wrote the song and put it in our video, and this was the result. So we got 18 cents. An APM of 107 and a click-through rate of 14%. And I'm gonna show you the video now. Yeah, and then we created lots of native, like for Mac or PC, what we call user acquisition consoles, that basically are special versions of the game, sometimes with different characters that are not in the game, sometimes with more features. This is actually has a slightly less features, but as you can see, you can show and hide hangers, change different cameras. You can enable and disable the C background, remove the intro animation, skip levels. You have all the skins unlocked, all the bikinis unlocked. In some other versions we have even more stuff, but I only found this one to make a video. And by using this, we kept getting very good results over the month until the launch, and they made tons of creatives. They were doing really good. So the game definitely was really strong on that part. So then we need to talk about to tackle in-game metrics. When we did the first test, it was meant to be a CPI test. It only had 5 levels and only had very simple rules. One hanger removes 1 piece of cloth. And since she only had 9 pieces of clothes, basically 9 hangers, you will see her naked. Day 1 retention was as expected low, 15%. Day 0 playtime also was pretty low, with this is in seconds, but the CPI, as you know, it was great. So we had to prepare another build for retention this time, for our retention test. And our goal for this test was to reach at least 30% day 1 retention and 600 seconds, so 10 minutes playtime on day 0. So to achieve this, we improved the core loop satisfaction feeling. We created animation for each undressing moment. Before, she was just twirling every time she changed, and now she would took the gloves, the scarf, she would do like this. She would take the jacket off like this. So we tried to make it more satisfying, and of course we added more particles and sparkle to make the game feel more complete. We also implemented a dressing level system. By that I mean that the character has 9 dressing levels that goes from fully dressed to fully naked, and to go from one level to another you need to collect 4 points, and collecting a hanger would give you 1 point. Picking up rows would remove 2 points, and then we added more levels. We implemented this in a week basically, and we run the test, and these were the results. So 13 levels. Day 1 retention was almost 29%, so we consider it passed. And day 0 playtime was 700 seconds, so even better than what we expected. And CPI, even with the same video, dropped to 15 cents. So the game was definitely going to happen. Then we worked in March, then we worked the full month of August, and in early September we launched the game. All right, so I'm running out of time. I hope you guys get lucky with your games, and thanks for watching.